system. He was in remission now, but for how long? None of them knew what the future held, and she'd so wanted this evening to be special. A perfect celebration for her father with his family around him. "No news?" her mother snapped. Nicole slid her hand from the phone. "He's been held up." The lie slipped out of her mouth too easily. She cursed Ethan again, wishing he didn't switch his phone to silent. "I can't be interrupted when I'm in meetings," he kept saying. She understood that, but tonight was different. She couldn't have impressed the importance on him enough this past week. "Oh, really?" Alice tucked a curtain of grey hair behind her ear, leaned her slender frame back in the chair and gave a sarcastic sniff. Only too happy to display her constant disapproval of Ethan's tardiness, his absence at dinner parties, his late arrivals. She'd never much approved of her son-in-law, but now she scarcely had time for him when he was present, and Ethan did little to ease the situation. Inwardly seething, Nicole sat tall, resolute. She wasn't about to be drawn into an argument. Today was all about her dad. She moved around the table, enveloped her father in a hug, a lump forming in her throat as his bony elbows pressed into her back. "Another glass of wine?" she asked, pulling back, kissing his papery cheek. He smiled, held up his glass. "That would be lovely, thank you." It wasn't until Nicole walked back into the kitchen, wine glass in hand, that she heard the voice coming from the front of the house. The distinctive, familiar, booming tone that reached up from the pit of his stomach. She swept along the hallway, sandals squeaking on the tiles as she approached her daughter, Katie, holding the front door open a crack. "Hey," Nicole said, sliding her arm around her 6-year-old's shoulder and pulling the door open wider to reveal David Harrison, Ethan's boss. His sleek wife of 30 years, Olivia, standing beside him in a beige trouser suit, impeccably dressed as always. "I wasn't expecting you two. Dad will be thrilled." David tugged at his collar. He was wearing the same navy shirt he wore when they last saw each other at his house in the Cotswolds 2 weeks ago. She could still picture him that evening, seducing his guests with his wide grin, charm oozing out of every pore. Though there was none of that charm this evening, none of that diamond sparkle in his eye. Today, his face looked tight, his 50-year-old skin pale. She looked past him, almost expecting Ethan to appear with a sheepish grin, presenting the Harrisons as his last-minute surprise, a reprieve for his late arrival. David was godfather to Finley. The Harrisons were practically family after all. Instead of returning her smile, David cleared his throat. A muscle twitched in Olivia's cheek. "You haven't heard," he said. "What?" Nicole's chest tightened. "Has something happened? What is it, David?" "Perhaps we could come in," Olivia said, "and have a private word." She shifted her gaze to Katie, lowering her voice to a whisper. "It's important, love." Nicole's mouth dried. "It's about Ethan, it has to be. Oh, God, I hope he's okay." "Of course." She moved aside for the Harrisons to enter, just in time for an excited Finley to arrive at the bottom of the stairs and hurl himself at his godfather. David wrapped his arms around the young boy and ruffled his hair, while Nicole went in search of her parents' assistants, leaving the children to fill the hall with their enthusiastic chatter. "Are you staying for dinner? Can you join the party?" It took all Nicole's mother's powers of persuasion to coax the children away and usher them into the front room. The promise of special television time until dinner was ready, a rare treat, the only lure. Nicole's father took one look at the Harrisons' sombre faces and stayed with his daughter. He followed her as she guided her guests down the hallway, past the sweeping staircase, the enlarged black and white prints of the children as toddlers adorning the walls. In the kitchen, David waited beside the door, pushing it to a close when they were all inside. Nicole passed her gaze from one to another. "Are you going to tell me what's going on?" "Please sit down," Olivia said, gesturing to the table at the end of the room.